talking about the fires in 2009 and the consequences, and the consequences of not just the immediate effects, but the effects down the track, not 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It can be multiple years that things are not back to the way they were, and they'll never be normal as they used to be. They will be different, but they could be comfortable. But that's not happening, and it hasn't happened for a lot of people, has it?
Yeah, I'm wanting to do a call out and find out how many people are actually in the same boat as me. Yes, there's definitely lots of houses rebuilt, but from where I drive around, obviously I can see there's most of the rental houses haven't been rebuilt.
Yes.
A lot of people, like, the turnover of population is dramatic.
Has it decreased?
Yes, it was 4,500 before the fires. It went down to 900 people after the fires.
Because they didn't
was
have
nowhere
homes.
to live.
There was nowhere to live,
Yeah.
so they had to disperse. And I suppose after they'd moved out of there, thinking about,
You became displaced citizens.
Yes.
In other suburbs.
Yeah, and you then created a life. If you had children, you'd need to send them to school, so you'd be somewhere else, so you'd send them to school, and then you wouldn't want to uproot them and move them back to where the environment was amazing in one instance, which was absolutely destroyed. And down the track, 2009, now it's 2017, and the regrowth and everything would be there, and it'd be beautiful.
Yeah, the environment recovers way better than humans.
Absolutely. But the consequences, you're talking about suicide, you're talking about displacement of families, marriage breakups, all these sorts of things.
Behavioural problems with young kids.
Yeah. The consequences are massive.
I had I actually would say that in my understanding is everyone is going to have a breakdown. It's just a matter of when.
Yes.
Mine was in December 2013.
Right.
So from November 2013 to end of 2015 or middle of 2015, I was suicidal.
Really?
So
would you like to talk about that?
Yeah. I just had I didn't want to be there. We'd had so many bad experiences with the building process. The last builder having all the money and only built it to 50%, and was doing some really stupid stuff. We have to build to bushfire regulations now, so that's added cost. The battling with the insurance, battling with the banks who were trying to rip us off.
Don't they have
there were
any
lots
ethics?
of government grants and handouts. We had a caseworker assigned to us. The first one we had, I don't think she knew what she was doing.
She didn't know how to deal with it.
She didn't know what she was supposed to do, and I didn't know what she was supposed to do, so it was pretty useless. The second one was exceptionally good, but I was in a state of, I'm an intelligent human being, I was a scientist, I can handle this by myself, which is stupid, because you can't.
Absolute rubbish.
So missed out on a whole heap of support and help from that. And and I suppose I had heard that if you lose your business and your home, your business is probably the most important to get up and running first.
Again,
yeah.
yes.
So live somewhere else and then do that, which we attempted to do. However, my business that got destroyed was not even launching yet. So I had to recreate that or change it, because the council did not like the business that I was proposing to have on my property, because it's zoned farming, and which they had changed in our absence in WA. So it was a battle against, it felt like I was against everybody, fighting everything and everyone, thinking initially we thought, great, clean slate, we can build, we can warily build what we want to build where we want to build it on the property, but we found that not to be the case.
You weren't allowed?
So initially I wanted to do the performance, public speaking and presentation skills, but that's not an agricultural business.
Okay. Okay.
So, and then I was trying to work with them, but they weren't giving me any kind of help or assistance. I end up saying, well, what can I have on the property? And they said, well, no need to get aggressive. And I'm like, no, you're telling me no, 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 no. I'm wondering, what are you going to say yes to?
When you get so many rejections, and when you get people ripping you off and taking your money and not being ethical and all the rest of it.
Plus, you don't have any short-term memory.
And I suppose that there's this build-up of just tension and stress and self-doubt and self-worth and everything that could possibly happen.
And I'd gone from a multitasking, competent person to, when you in the shock and PTSD, you don't have any short-term memory. So if you asked me what I had for breakfast, I wouldn't be able to tell you. And I kept on forgetting I was supposed to be at this meeting, community meeting, this and that meeting. And I started feeling totally incompetent. And so my self-confidence literally got wiped out because I couldn't trust myself to remember things. And then having all these kind of stresses, if you like, of battles or challenges, hurdles to get over. But I suppose goes down to that definition of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and the other one is the definition of success is every single time you get knocked down,
you get back up again.
What matters is that you get back up again.
Yeah.
But it does wear you out. It'd be like doing 10 rounds with Muhammad Ali or someone like that, and it really takes the wind out of your sails.
So you were suicidal for
18 months. Yeah.
18 months. What got you through that and to where you are today? What happened that stopped you from feeling suicidal to bringing yourself out of that and running a beautiful business? What was it?
I suppose it was my husband had a friend when he was in his early 20s who committed suicide. And he always said whenever he heard someone on the news that someone committed suicide, he always made a strange remark going, that is so selfish. And I went, what?
Yeah.
And he explained the ripple effect of that person taking their life.
Yes.
And that always played in my mind. At that time, I thought I was down a well and someone had put the lid on top of the well.
And you couldn't get out.
Yeah, often people will say, the black dog. Yeah. Or I felt like I was down a well. There was no future.
And you couldn't get out.
We weren't going to get out of this. What's the point? What is the point? Because everything you try, you get smacked in the face or knocked down. Luckily, and I would spend a lot of time on the couch, just sleeping. That's a survival mechanism for depression.
Yeah.
I went to a counsellor, and often I would come back more depressed after the counsellor. So the talk therapy wasn't working very much. I was also had hit 50 at the time, and I thought, okay, I have to get a job. If my business isn't. I didn't have the mental capacity at that time to actually do a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't realise that, and I just wondered why I had such mental difficulty doing stuff, and so I suppose it was the fact that I had an amazing support network. I had 3 people that I could call morning, noon or night.
Because they knew where you were sitting? Did they understand where you were?
It would depend the state, the thing that was in my mind at the time, who I would call. One, Pam Fallon, she probably saved me more times than she'll ever know. She would be able to talk me through it, which was fabulous. Another great friend of mine who I'll be seeing next Friday, she's moved off the mountain.
Okay.
It was her family literally pretty much got us out of where we were. Basically he picked up Bernie from the CFA shed and took him to the property the morning after. He helped us so many ways. I set up a makeshift singing studio with my surviving students in their property. They they just did so much for me. And we were good friends before the fires, but now we're inseparable. I could call her and she would just immediately drop everything and come round. And so those two people, and if it was really severe and it was really urgent, the girl at the end of the street. So having those three people to talk me through it, or come and give me a hug and take me for a walk, were the people that got me through it. Having that, so without those people, and my best friend would have done it as well. She was living in Geelong. She rang me and said, "Oh, what do you need?" And everyone had donated T-shirts because it was summer, and we had a really cold snap about a week in, which made it more desperate for the horses to get off the mountain. And so I had like 4 T-shirts on and one wind sheet, and I was freezing to death. So I said, "Oh, I need some thermals and I need some winter pajamas, and I need," because people don't realise that you get left. I was lucky because I had a weekend's worth of clothes away with me when I was away. Bernie had 1 pair of jocks, 1 pair of pants, 1 pair of socks, and a T-shirt. And Michael, our friends, gave him some long pants and some boots. And
you were basically left with nothing.
Yeah. Intimo were fantastic. You know, the lingerie company?
Yeah, love them.
They asked us to put down our sizes, all the women to put down our sizes, and we all got an Intimo pack of about 6 pairs of knickers, of which 3 were G-strings, which often got swapped around to the young'uns. And a variety of bras and some beautiful camis. And that was
fantastic,
phenomenal, because, you know, it's...
Make you feel special.
Real, and it was new, not
it was
kind
new.
of
second-hand
and op shop-ish stuff. So, yeah, I think that is the most critical thing when you're at your lowest.
To have support.
Knows that someone that you can call.
Yeah.
I tried Lifeline.
Waste
no.
of time. Yeah.
They said, "Can you get a doctor's appointment?" And I'm like,
"Excuse me?
Did you not hear what I'm saying?" So I thought, yeah, it's going to take me 2 days to get a doctor's appointment, and I have to go off the mountain to do it. And it's like, I'm not in a state to do that.
Not even. I couldn't even drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, and it was just, it was really, yeah. So having those individuals that you trusted, that knew, that understood, and didn't say to you, "Just get over it," or whatever, would just help you get through and look at the positives.
Yeah. So
that was, in my darkest moments, that's where they were. But it was, ultimately, you have to get yourself out, but you need that support and encouragement. And the best thing I did was write down, they said, list all your successes in life.
Right.
And I thought, so I started doing that, and I got up this morning.
Yeah.
I washed the dishes. And then I thought, and I got 3 world firsts in science. And I've had 16 successful singing students that have gone on to do amazing, wonderful things, and are mostly all in community services and doing amazing speaking throughout the world. And I thought, I'm very proud of that. If you have a book, I have a book of my successes.
Beautiful.
Keep a book and write down your successes.
Do you know what? We are coming to the end.
Oh, I know.
And do you know what? I'm really sad about that. We're gonna do a blog about. We're gonna do a podcast about this because I think it's a really important thing. This will be podcasted. Just working on my platform, and all my conversations will be podcasted. This story is really important because I'm sure that there are other people out there still struggling to this day, and this is 10 years on. Plus.
Yes. Yeah.
So
we'll get there. I think the worst of it's over now, but it's still slow and steady. And
the effects, the on effects for people are just amazing. So to have an appreciation and the support system is a really important thing. And yeah, I'd love to talk more about that. And thank you so much for sharing it, Karen.
And if
I want to cry.
Look, if anyone, it's not just, Black Saturday trauma. It's any major trauma, as we were saying in the break. You might have lost a limb or the ability to walk in a car accident. I'm now a facilitator for road safety education. And we do have facilitators who have had physical trauma, and we've suffered the same things. We often have these conversations together going, okay, that's what it's like. Okay. The scary thing is the older you have the trauma, so we were 47 and 48 when it happened, the longer it takes to recover.
Okay, we have to go.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to contact Karen, we're going to put it up on my Facebook page so that you can contact her or contact me, and we can have more of a conversation. But now it's bye for now. Thank you, Karen, so much for travelling all the way.
It's a pleasure.
And it's on to the Samoans who are taking over. Thank you. Turn that down because we don't want to hear it. We had to finish. He was waving at me.
Okay.
Yep.